If you were looking to buy Unchained cards or any other Yu-Gi-Oh cards, make sure to check out 41games.ca and use code BEAR10 for 10% off your Yu-Gi-Oh singles. Thanks to my friend Chase, I was finally able to pick up the rest of this deck and finally have it done in person. So I'm not really going to be covering the individual Unchained cards because I have an entire in-depth guide on the deck. If you guys haven't seen that and you want to learn how to play Unchained, you should most definitely check that out. It's super informative. All the texts, tips, tricks, like everything you need, it's in there. Like you won't find guys like that anywhere else on YouTube for Yu-Gi-Oh! Just trust me, it's one of a kind, really, really in-depth. And if you guys enjoy stuff like this, like deck profiles, guides, and like any other series, I have a Tech Tuesday series I just started. It would really help me out if you guys subscribe to the channel. And yeah, one last note that I want to make before I get into the deck profile. This was before the ban list, but the main deck for the most part, not going to change all that much. I'll go over the things that will change. The thing that's drastically going to change is the side deck, but like regardless of the ban list or not, that was going to change anyways. So yeah, alright, so you guys are immediately going to make fun of me because we have one Starlight, one Rare, and one Common Aruha. I'm not that rich, I can't afford 3 Starlights, but yo, if anybody wants to swing them my way, go right ahead. We have 3 copies of Lakey and 3 copies of Sorama. You absolutely have to max out on the twins. It doesn't matter if they're like considered not that good individually. They're very important for the grind game, and after you break someone's board, trust me, you're gonna be in a grind game. This deck gets into a lot of them, and just having access to those extra pieces is very crucial for that. Then we have 2 copies of a bomb, because you want to see it sometimes, but not all of the time. I'm just kidding. You don't mind opening this card in your hand, even though you'd prefer not to. It's not that bad to open with, because if one of your cards gets destroyed, you can special summon a bomb from your hand, so it's not a dead card. But you would prefer to special summon it from your deck with one of your twins, or from your graveyard, maybe by its own effect, or with Chamber. But either way, this card is very strong. It's a 3k body, and it's a non-targeting pop. So this will come up a lot in a damage step. Your opponent will try to negate it, but you got to remind them, damage step, the only way this gets negated is if they have something that negates activation. Then we have 1 copy of the dog, which is Disaster. This one you don't want to open. This one you want to stay in your deck because first off, you can't do anything with it in your hand. Like, yeah, if one of your twins dies, you can special summon it from your hand, but you don't really want to do that. You want to have resources in your hand. So yeah, that sucks. And then second, you want to play it at 1 because its effect is not a quick effect. So even though it is powerful that you can link off your opponent's monsters, you don't really want to special summon it on your opponent's turn because it's just going to sit there, and if they wanted to, there's a good chance they can get rid of it. So that's it for the Unchained monsters. Moving on, we have 1 copy of Pankratops, which I guess, as everybody knows by now, is a very powerful card. 2600 body. You can special summon it. It's not an effective special. It can easily bait out 2 cards that your opponent has. It's just a very strong going second card. Next, for our hand trap lineup, we are playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom. I've contemplated if I really need to play this card, and it's generically so good, I can't justify ever cutting this card. One thing that does come up actually in the new format is if your opponent hard opens the Red Eyes Fusion, if you're not playing this in your deck, you're just going to feel really, really bad because this potentially could have been in your hand, and Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is very hard for this deck to deal with because Red Eyes Dark Dragoon cannot be targeted, which this deck does a lot, and it can't be destroyed by card effects, which, you know, makes it really rough to out. Then we play Gamma. Now, this one, although it was very, very powerful in the last format, I don't know about it this format because Call by the Grave is at 1 now, and yeah, negating and destroying is very powerful, but a lot of people are switching over to Triple Tactics talent, and what that means is they can use Tactics and they can take your Gamma, and this is a potential material for Halki Fibrax combos, and yes, even with the Jet and O-Line banned, Halki Fibrax unfortunately is still a problem card. So yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about this card. It may potentially be getting cut for something else, maybe a Dark Ruler no more in the main deck. Then for the final monster hand trap that we are playing 2 copies of Nibiru. Now, this is another card that I'm super iffy with heading into the new format. Now, although you could easily justify playing a last format, This one is a little bit harder because think about it. The decks that you do want to Nibiru, so there's dinosaurs, you're never going to Nibiru them because they'll have Misk, and by the time that there is a phase where you can Nibiru, they'll probably have Dolka, so yeah, that's not happening. And then with the off chance that you do get paired up against an Infernoble player, they do have combo lines where they have a negate for Nibiru on their 4th summon. And then you look at the other meta decks where you have Dogmatic or Eldritch, or maybe you play against a rogue deck like Geist or Guru, this just, it's not going to come up. So I don't even know if this is worth side decking, let alone main decking going into the new format, but it's something I'm going to have to play around with for sure. Moving on to these spells, we have 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance, and very good news for all you budget players, this got reprinted like what, twice in the span of a month, so it's very accessible, very affordable now. And next, don't judge me, we're playing 2 copies of Prison. Not because I think it's the right ratio, but because I literally couldn't find a third. You have to play 3 of this. You can search any Unchained monster, and you can also search any of your Unchained traps. Like, this is way too good to not max out on. So yeah, sorry, I legit just could not find a third copy of it. But yo, somehow, it's either this deck is really good, or I'm really good, or maybe it's a combination of both. We still managed to snag first place. But yeah, definitely play 3 copies of this card. For the final spell, usually I just play Extravagance and I just play Prison, but I decided to try out Triple Tactics Talent because I'm a huge advocate for this card in any going second strategy because you're going to be trying to break a board. You expect your opponent to have some sort of monster interruption, whether it's on the field or in their hand, and this card is just so versatile. Are you scared of another interruption? Cool, you can look in their hand and rip a card. Are you scared of something on the field or you want to use it as a material? Cool, you can take it. Or do you just want to draw more cards? Cool, you can do that too. Like, this card is just so versatile and it's so good. Anyone saying this is a pseudo Call by the Grave? Nah, it's not. Like, I know Call by the Grave got hit to 1, so people are just trying to say, oh yeah, Tactic is just a Call by the Grave replacement, but this card is infinitely better. Like, yeah, it's becoming more popular because Call got hit, but they do entirely different things. So if you're saying the price for this card is not justified, I just think you're wrong. This card is so good. Next, we have 3 copies of Chamber in our trap lineup and 3 copies of Escape. Like I said, you have to max out on the Unchained cards. These are all very crucial in the grind game. They're all very good. There's just no reason not to max out on them. And then for our final hand trap, we are playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. So I really want to emphasize that this card got infinitely better in the new format because with Tactics becoming more popular, you don't really want to use hand traps as much because you're kind of going to get punished for it. And see, Imperm doesn't matter because it's not a monster, it's not a Veiler. So if you Imperm something, they can't just use Tactics right after. So yeah, this card was already probably the best hand trap of the last format, and somehow it got even better. And for the final card in the main deck, we are playing 3 copies of Evenly Matched. Just a very powerful going second card. Whether you're playing against combo, whether you're playing against control, it doesn't matter. If you bait out the interruption for for a combo deck, you can still just activate Evenly Matched after, clear their board, leave them with 1 monster of their choice, and with Unchained, outing 1 monster, that's no problem, none whatsoever. So yeah, that is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, things are a bit more self-explanatory. There are some things I'll get into in the end, but first off, we have 3 copies of Rage, and we have 3 copies of Anguish. We are playing Extravagance. You have to max out on these. You cannot afford to banish every single copy of either one of these 2. So for those that don't know, this is the one that's a quick effect on your opponent's turn where you can link off with their special summon monster, and then this one is the one where you can link off on your own turn with one of their monsters. We also are playing 2 copies of Abomination. We're playing 2 copies of this because you're not as concerned about banishing it. It's definitely not as good as these 2, but it's still very good to possibly have it in your extra deck. See, the reason why this isn't as good is because with these 2, if they're destroyed by battle or card effect, they at least replenish a resource from your graveyard. Whereas if your opponent gets rid of this, you get nothing back. It's gone. And the thing is, if you go a bomb pass, like, that doesn't do anything. Even in a simplified game state, it's sometimes scary to just pass on this because it's just not enough. So yeah, that wraps it up for the Unchained monsters. Next, we have 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. very good utility card. Not only is it a dark, so it's easy for you to link off with your Unchained links, it's also a Fiend monster, so even if you're locked into Fiends with, say, Rakia, you can still go into Unicorn. We decided to play the Topologic package because, you know, COVID format, so entirely didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if some of my friends picked up new cards or, you know, if they're still playing old strategies. I had no idea, so this was a safe bet. You can probably cut one or two of these, but I think Trisbania and Zeroboros are pretty good to still have in your extra deck. So yeah, these are all dark, so you can climb into them with the Rage or with the Anguish. This one you guys all know, and it also, if you didn't know, it actually got better because now we have the OCG effect where it comes back in both player standby phases. This one obviously gets rid of spells and traps, and this one in case your opponent likes to link climb a lot and like they're really relying on their link arrows. So something like Salad, for example, this would be pretty good, and this is not once per turn, so yeah, like it's really good. Then we have Axis Code Talker. Very powerful card. It can be a 5300 body, and in the scenario that you're playing against something like Eldritch, this is also very strong because if they have a Scarlet set, it doesn't matter. They can't wait for you to use the Axis Code Talker effect because they can't respond to it. So whether they have the Scarlet or they want to use the Scarlet, bring out the Lord, you're still going to be able to pop it regardless. Now, these are things that I'm probably changing for sure. We are playing Dingirsu and we are playing Gamma. This is just very good removal because it's non-targeting removal. You can make it with Disaster and you can make it with the Bomb. And then with this, we're playing the Gamma package. So in the off chance that, you know, you get Ash on the Extravagance and you don't banish this card, it's potentially very good. And because Dogmatica is more popular in the meta, this is actually not a bad thing to send to your graveyard because you can put it back in your extra deck. And then maybe if your opponent has something annoying in their graveyard, maybe you want to get rid of a Lord, or maybe you want to get rid of like a Conquistador or something that they have in their graveyard because you don't want them to use it in the end phase, this is also very, very good. But the thing is that what we're really concerned about? Because these are very situational cards. Essentially, they're just flex spots, right? And my biggest concern right now is Dragoon, because we can't target it and we can't destroy it with card effects, so that really sucks. So something I'm considering is cutting these two and playing 2 copies of Starving Venom and playing 2 Super Poly or like 3 Super Poly in my side deck because I think that would be a lot better. Starving Venom is probably going to come up more because there's a lot of Dark Monsters in the game. People are always summoning Dark Monsters. So Starving Venom is a very good target, and just having 2 of it in case we banish one off Extravagance I think is very good as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is something I'm very curious about. Like, do you think that's a good idea? Because it's something I'm really contemplating doing going forward. Finally, for our side deck, this one was the most disappointing thing in the day, but yo, we still got first place. So yeah, a lot of changes are going to be happening here. So we decided to play 2 copies of Lava Golem. This was probably a mistake. Every time I sided it in, I never drew it, so I can't really give it a fair judgment, but just theoretically, your normal summon is kind of important. Like, if you're using this, you're kind of relying on opening a Ruha with a trap, and that's just not very good. So something I am considering playing are just Gamma Seals instead. Because they're the lowest attack Kaijus, you can get rid of it pretty easily, and it's another out to Dragoon. With this, you just expect your opponent to have Dragoon and a second monster, which you know is likely to happen, but like sometimes in the off chance that they draw the Red Eyes Fusion, this doesn't really do anything if they just go Dragoon Pass. Now, a good decision that I did make was to side deck Dark Ruler no more. The bad thing is I didn't max out on it, and that's definitely something that I should have done. Dark Ruler is just so good. And like I mentioned before, one of the problems going into the new format is that you have to worry about tactics. And since this isn't a monster and you don't have to activate it on your opponent's turn, you're just not worried about tactics whatsoever. So that's another reason why Dark Ruler just gets infinitely better. But you do have to be wary of another thing, is that Smoke Grenade is still a card, and it's very possible for this to get ripped out of your hand. So essentially, you have to make a decision, like, are you going to rely more on hand traps, or do you think Dark Ruler is just that much better because you're more worried about tactics going forward? So yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Personally, I am contemplating main decking this because with Unchained, you can break a board pretty easily when they do have their interruptions up. So imagine them not having any interruptions whatsoever. Next, a card that did perform for me, 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. Such a good card, and unfortunately with Mystic Mind still being legal, something that kind of feels essential to be a part of your side deck. A mistake that I made was playing Duster because, again, like, it was COVID format. It is still COVID format. I didn't know if my friends picked up new cards or not. I didn't know what they were playing. For some reason, I expected Control. I was wrong. People had Dragoon. People had all that good stuff. But yeah, this is getting cut 100%. A thing that is going to make the side deck, though, is Duster. Because Harpy's Feather Duster is now unbanned. And it just, why would you play this when you have Harpy's Feather Duster? And in general, we have enough removal in this deck. We have the Cosmic Sided. We have the Evenlies. We have Escape. And with Duster, like, yeah, anything else would just be overkill. Now, a side deck card that I actually really liked was 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. So what this offers your deck is some versatility and ability to play going first. And I know you're thinking, okay, but this is a blind going second deck. Why do you want going first cards? Well, because Smoke Grenade is a card, and going second against that deck doesn't really feel that good. Because as I said, Dragon Link and Infernobles can play through Interruption. And if they do play through your Interruption, you're just going to be completely depleted of any cards in your hand, and you're not going to be able to play. There's no way you're breaking a board with like 3 cards in your starting hand. Like, it's not going to happen. It's impossible. Like, okay, it's possible, but it's very, very unlikely. And a card that I play to help turbo out this card is Trap Trick. See, like, this is very good because we're also main decking Imperms, and we also have Escape and Chamber. Like, Chamber doesn't do anything, but Trap Trick can actually still get out Chamber, which is why I'm mentioning Chamber. And I just said Chamber like 10 times, but yeah, you get the point. So yeah, something else that I'm considering is actually playing Summon Limit in the side deck to just give me another option for going first. Because yeah, Torrential is very strong, Trap Trick helps turbo it out, but having another going first card to side in to take out like the Evenly Match, the Pankratops, would just be really beneficial, as opposed to just relying on opening Torrential Tribute, opening Trap Trick, and hoping to open up like a twin with Escape. Because to me, that maybe just does not sound reliable enough for a going first strategy. So yeah, Summon Limit is something I am considering because it doesn't conflict with your strategy as much as it would with maybe the Infernoble or Dragon Link strategy, because they do need those summons. With this deck, you're fine with just like one normal summon and then just setting up, having a way to access a bomb next turn, having a way to get Disaster. You have so many ways that you can play it on your own turn and on your opponent's turn that Summon Limit is just going to hinder them so much more than it would hinder you. And then for the last side deck card, we have 1 copy of Red Reboot. Personally, I'm probably going to cut this card. It's very hard to justify siding Red Reboot at the moment. Like, maybe in a stronger OTK strategy, yeah, but I just don't think there are enough trap decks, and you just really need the flexibility in your side deck for Unchained, and honestly, this just doesn't come up enough for me, and this deck doesn't OTK reliably enough for me to give my opponent an extra trap card for them to set up for the next turn. So yeah, that is gonna wrap up the Unchained deck profile, guys. If you guys enjoyed that video, if you enjoyed the deck profile, make sure you remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It's gonna really help me out a lot. I'm gonna keep playing this deck, dude. I have way too much fun playing Unchained. So yeah, there's definitely gonna be more Unchained content going forward. If you guys have any suggestions for the deck, let me know. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. And with that said, this is Bear signing off. Peace, guys.